In the 19th Arrondissement of Paris, you can find a spacious park known as the Buttes Chaumont. Unlike the Eiffel Tower, the Arc de Triomphe, or the Louvre, this park, despite its beauty, is a bit off the touristy path. In the mornings, you might find joggers or folks sitting on its benches. During the weekend, people use its lawns to relax. And in the summer, the city opens the park all night. What those who enjoy the urban park might not know is that below their feet are the remains and carcasses of hundreds of thousands of horses. Paris, like London, Berlin, and other European cities, has large wooded parks that were once royal hunting grounds. But this park, the Buttes Chaumont, doesn't have that royal pedigree. It's actually pretty much the opposite. The name of the park tells its history. Buttes Chaumont can be translated to bald hill. The whole area was not densely populated like the city of Paris itself, and the park was nothing more than an ugly, desolate hill. The soil beneath the ground was not suitable for any vegetation, and for hundreds of years it really only served three purposes: as a quarry for gypsum, a hangout for vagrants, and as a dump for animal carcasses. A history book from 1860, 4 years before the park would be inaugurated, described how on average, annually, 12,000 horse cadavers would be dumped at the site. But the area's reputation was also ruined by something else: the royal gallows. For hundreds of years, just a few hundred yards from the base of the hill that makes up the Buttes Chaumont Park, the royal gallows hung and displayed the bodies of those that had been condemned to die. This structure was one of the most direct and ritualized symbols of the power and tyranny of the old monarchy. Today, no trace remains. The original location of the gallows is now a housing complex and a sports center. Between the decaying animal carcasses, fumes, smells, and the literal publicly displayed enemies of society hanging from the gallows, it's safe to say that this whole area was probably seen as some tenebrous hellscape to the citizens of the city. So turning this nefarious section of the city into what it is now was a big turning point. To make it happen, a landscape designer named Jean-Charles Alphand was tasked with a 2-year transformation. The effort was immense. They brought in thousands of workers, over 100 horses, and 2 steam engines to displace millions of cubic meters of earth and rock. And after, in just over a decade, the neighborhood gained more than 15,000 new residents. The park didn't just serve the new population, it also created a green space for the entire city. But for this park to even be built, massive geopolitical events had to take place: wars, revolutions, and huge economic upheavals. And this guy, nephew of this guy, put himself in the middle of these events, exiled himself twice, and came back inspired to change Paris. Napoleon III had many of the same grandiose ambitions as his uncle. Like his uncle, he crowned himself Emperor of France. But before that, he had to endure 2 failed coups, 6 years of prison, and exiles in London. But that exile was what exposed him to the hottest gardening trend of the century: the English garden. French gardens, which had been the dominant form of landscape design, followed an ordered and symmetrical layout, reflecting man imposing order over nature. English gardens, however, tried to copy the idealistic country life into an urban setting. Napoleon saw this new style of garden during his exile, notably through places like Hyde Park and Kensington Gardens. But beyond simply copying the style of these gardens, creating these parks served as a form of state intervention in public hygiene and urban development. Ultimately, out of London and in power, Napoleon III transformed Paris into a modern city. Under his rule, neighborhoods were torn down, boulevards cut across the city, and, on top of a putrid hill full of animal cadavers, a park was created.